Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP Victus, what is this, 16, alright, the model number here, it's super difficult to read here, you have to get the lighting just right, but it's a Victus by HP gaming laptop, 16-r0085cl. Alright, so we're going to be starting by removing all the screws from the bottom. It looks to be a PH1 or JS1. So let's go ahead and remove those screws. Alright, you want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. So you got 4 here and then you got 4 down here. Alright, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Right? If you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. If you could subscribe to that one, that'll really help me out. I need to get that one to 1,000 subscribers, and it's a little over halfway there. Okay, anyways, we got almost all the screws out, and then we're gonna have to go ahead and pop the bottom cover off. So this one has a broken screen, so we need to open the bottom so we can disconnect the battery and drain the power before we start. Otherwise we can fry the LCD, screen, cable, backlight, circuit, a bunch of different things. Alright, so now that we got all the screws out, I'm going to get my fingernails in the gap between the bottom cover and the palm rest, and usually we can go ahead and push on the palm rest and pop clips out. Let's see if that works with this model. Okay, and yes it does. Be careful not to push on the palm rest. Okay, we're just pulling the clips out of the thing, and if you push on the palm rest you could push that into the laptop and damage it. Alright, so now that we got that, I'm gonna push down with my thumbnail here and then pull up with my other fingernails and then slide my other fingernail across. I did hear something loose in there, so I better check what's going on. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and go under. Same thing, pop this. Alright, the back might pop itself out once we got the sides and the front. Let's see. No? Let's see. Okay, let's see what falls out here. If something might fall out. Actually, where'd it go? Interesting. I don't know where the little thing that was rolling in there went. Alright, we're going to go across the back here. Looks like we have to kind of pull it. Okay, now that we got that, I'm going to kind of like wiggle it side to side as I kind of pull up, and let's see where the clips come out. Actually, the clips hold really strong, so I guess I have to do the same technique but across the back here. No, not quite. Kind of, not really. You also have to kind of lift this as you do that. And there you go. It's really dusty in here, so I'm gonna have to take it out and clean it up real quick. Okay, but let's see. I don't know what's... Oh, there it is. Screw. Uh-oh. That's the worst thing to be rolling around inside. Where'd this come from? Now we got to figure out where a random loose screw came from. Here. So a screw somehow came out from there. We're going to go ahead and tighten that back in. Hopefully that didn't cause any damage rolling around the computer as we were opening it. But anyways, let's go ahead and tighten that back down. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to brush this. I'll like have it turn, brush this, and then I'll use my electric air blower to blow the dust out. Alright, so let me do that real quick. I'll do this as well, and then also brush all the other dust to loosen it up, and then use an electric air blower to clean it up. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So, we dusted that out. You can see how much cleaner it is now. Okay, and then we dusted all the fans. You can see how much cleaner that is. Alright, anyways, next thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery. You don't really have to remove the battery. We're just going to disconnect the cable, but maybe I'll just remove it just to show you the components underneath, okay? So, get a closer look here. But this is how you would disconnect the battery. So this has little wings. I just use my fingernails and then I kind of just walk it like this. Slowly wiggle, 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 and it should eventually come out. Okay, make sure it doesn't come out at an angle. You want to try and get it as even as possible because you don't want to bend the cables in there. All right, and the battery actually is pretty close to the thing, so the connector's kind of getting stuck from the cables. So we do actually have to take the battery out just to make it so we can lift the cable out easier. Otherwise it might bend something here. All right, so we're going to remove all these screws. Again, keep them in order. If you're wondering, for the bottom cover, the 2 screws towards the back hinges were much longer, and then the rest seem to be about the same size. But again, it's always a good idea to keep them in order just in case. The screws inside where the battery is are completely different, so keep that in mind. All right, again, you don't want to mix up the screws and put them in the wrong place. You can damage components doing that. Okay, so 4 screws along the top, and then 2 screws at the bottom, 1 on each corner there. Okay, now that we got all those screws out, we're going to carefully lift the bottom here, and then now that we lift that, we can go ahead and pull this back. All right, oh, be careful, this is hitting the speaker. So there we go. This is kind of dirty, so let me clean that off a little bit. All right, so the battery model number is right there, WK04XL. So if you need a replacement battery, that's the model number. If you need help finding one, just let me know. I'll send you a link. And here's an HP spare part number if you need that, M39179-005. Okay, we'll set that aside. Okay, next thing you want to do after disconnecting the battery is to open up the laptop. And then you want to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right, this makes it a lot safer to work on. Okay, take those 15 seconds. This will drain the capacitors and things like that so that there's a lot less risk of any power damaging other components when you start disconnecting things. All right, I don't know if you can tell, but the screen is cracked. You can kind of see some lines in there. But anyways, there's that. Let me actually get a picture of the keyboard for the thumbnail eventually. Actually, I could have done that after I got the screen working, but here we go. All right, so there's that with the little Victus logo. All right, we're gonna close this back up. Next thing we're gonna do, let's go ahead and take a look at other components. This isn't part of the screen repair, but here's the RAM. There's 2 tabs. You pull them to the side, and then it pops up like that. Then you can go ahead and pull this out. And the RAM here is an 8 gig stick. Sorry, 8 gig. Come on, focus. Why isn't it focusing? I don't know why it's not focusing. All right, anyways, 8 gig PC3. Wake up. I don't know what's going on with my phone. Well, I'm getting a replacement soon because, yeah, maybe I dropped it too much. I don't know what's going on. Why isn't it focusing on its own? Anyways, sorry, not PC3, it's a PC5, 5600B. So you should be okay with any 8 gig PC5 5600B RAM. All right, again, there's an 8 gig stick, so there's 2 8 gig sticks, 16 gigs total. Get it back in at an angle like that, and then click it down. Okay, keyboard connector is here. This is most likely the keyboard backlight. There are these little plastic adhesive things on top that you would have to peel out, and then there's a flip latch that you need to flip up. I'm not going to mess with these connectors because none of this is damaged and they just need the screen repaired, so I don't want to mess around with things and then risk causing more damage. All right, here's the touchpad, trackpad connector here. All right, you got the wireless card, wireless connector here. You have this little tab that you would have to peel off as well. This is a thicker piece of plastic and it helps hold down those connectors. To remove the antennas, you go from the tail and then you can pop it up. All right, you got one fan connector here, the other fan connectors over here. I don't think you can remove these fans without removing the heatsink. You can try. It looks like there's 3 screws. Let me see. Yeah, I don't want to mess around with stuff that's not necessary. Here's the DC jack charge port connector here, and it runs by a wire here. You would have to take the hinge out. It looks like it might actually run underneath the heatsink, so that's very annoying. If you were to remove the charge port, it looks like you'd have to take the heatsink out as well. Actually, the fan seems separate. Let me see if I can just test it real quick to see if it comes separate. All right, sorry. Let me zoom out a tiny bit here. I see 3 screws. And it looks like you can actually lift it out. So you can actually, or you should be able to, remove the fans without taking the whole heatsink out. I would recommend opening up your laptop and then trying it first if you need to replace your fans. I do show how to repair the fans on different models. So if you want to see that kind of video, if your fan's having problems, feel free to post a comment asking, and I will send you a link to the playlist showing all those fan repairs. Okay. You got the LCD LVDS connector here, which we're not taking it out from this side. We're going to go from the other side. There's a little cable here, which I don't know what that's for. Is that for the power button? I don't know. Usually these power buttons are built into the keyboard cable itself, so I'm not quite sure, but that little cable might be for the power button itself. It's possible. All right, you got the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here, 2 screws, and then usually there's a thermal pad. This comes up. There's this little cable here going into the board for the headphone jack, audio jack here. Okay, it looks like on some models they might have like a micro SD card or maybe a SIM card slot or something there, but this model doesn't have that, you can see. All right, and then you got a bigger cable here running along underneath, most likely going to this USB port and the Ethernet port here. Yeah, you can actually see the cable under the heatsink there. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. There's an extra little cable here, which I'm not sure what that's for, but it has that. Okay, and yeah, if you want to see how to remove connectors and stuff, I have other videos showing that, but again, this is a screen replacement video, but I figured since I have the laptop, might as well show what other components and stuff are here. Okay, so first thing we gotta do after getting the battery disconnected, if you're replacing the screen, is to remove this bezel. As you can see, the customer kind of cracked all this stuff. Okay, you want to be careful handling the laptop with the bottom cover off. You don't want to like punch your finger into the speaker or something, but you can see they cracked this piece off, and then this is all like broken. There's a strong stretch adhesive underneath here, so we have to carefully peel this stuff up. Good chances are this little piece isn't going to stick back down after we remove this. I'm going to see if I can get some other adhesive that will stick. I don't have that stretch release adhesive, which is much stickier, tackier, but I'll use what I have and hopefully it will hold. All right, so we got that. We're going to slowly, carefully peel this up. So I have taken this out one time before just to check the screen model number. So yeah, it will come up a little bit easier for me, but even with it being pried up before, you can see it sticks really strong. So what you do is you go from the center, okay, and you basically want to rotate it while you're kind of like pushing it in, because the clips kind of hook in up there. All right, and you want to be careful you don't damage the little switch and stuff here. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to put some new adhesive since they broke all the pieces here. See, this part's all coming out. So since they broke that, then the adhesive that's holding some parts aren't going to help hold the rest. So here you can see this little stretchy piece, the adhesive. We're going to take this out because we're going to have to put new adhesive in there. Okay. Okay. And yeah, we're just going to, you don't really need to remove this, but it will make it so it doesn't stick all over everything when I set it down somewhere. So I want to make sure to get this out. Okay. All right, so there we go. Now we're gonna work on the sides. So we're gonna rotate it over. I don't know if you can see. Let me see. Okay, there you go. Same thing, pull up from the middle and push in to the center. Okay, slowly working your way down. Don't pull too quick. You don't want to crack more pieces if yours is already cracked. All right, try and keep it all together. And there's also a bunch of adhesive down here. So for me, it's going to be not too difficult because I already took it out once before. But I'm going to tell you, when I first took this out, it was super difficult to remove. So keep that in mind, okay? And again, we're going to go from the center, pushing inwards. Okay, just like that. All right, now that we got all that, we're going to stand this up. Okay, there's no specific direction you have to have the computer going, but you get in there. Okay, when I did it, I actually took a lot of the adhesive out, but you have to pull this back. If you can see in here, I don't know, let me see if I can show this. Okay, so there's this black plastic layer that sticks to the screen. If your screen's okay, you don't really have to worry, but it's gonna separate and it will tear away from the screen. If your screen is good, then I wouldn't recommend opening this because you're gonna end up damaging some stuff down here if you're not very careful. Anyways, you pull this back, and then what I was using was a thin metal flat tool. I mean, you can use plastic ones because metal obviously is conductive, but we did disconnect the battery and drain everything. But you would pull that, and then you would get in between and try and push that black layer of plastic with the white stretch release adhesive back onto the screen. And then you would just kind of work your way slowly, kind of pulling up and down like this as you pull, okay, because there are clips under here and clips kind of closer up here. I'll show you the back of this piece after I get it out, but basically kind of keep wiggling it as you pull. You can hear the clips disconnecting, and here you can see some of that stretch release adhesive. So basically just wiggle and pull like this. Okay, slowly working your way down. Again, this will take you much longer because the adhesive will be stuck very strong. So since I pulled it out once already, you can see this adhesive's not as tacky. So here you can see how they have some clips under here, okay? And then you have some more clips kind of closer to the middle here. And then you have a clip here, all right? And there. Okay, so we're gonna set that aside. Next thing we're gonna do is it has these little stretch release adhesive tabs. Let me see if I can show you. This is gonna be a bit tricky, but I'll open the screen as much as possible and then see if we can show it that way. What's with the clicky sounds? Okay, anyways, you do need something like a small, some small tool. You can use like a small flathead screwdriver or tweezers or whatever, just a little pokey thing. Okay, so in here, let me actually zoom in. So I did take this out once before, but here you can see there's this tab, and then there's a little circle hole in there. So what you want to do is you need to get a tool that can hook under there. It works better if you have a hook, not like a pointy thing like this. But I'm going to use my tweezers just because it works a little bit better. So you want to get underneath there. You can, if you have like a little hook, again, it would work a little bit easier. I don't really have a hook tool, but you can make one with like a maybe a paper clip. But anyways, you can see you pull that, okay? Once you do that, you can grab a hold of it, okay? And then you just pull it straight down away from the screen. Let me zoom out here to show you better. But basically, you're pulling it parallel to the screen, so the same flatness of this, you want to pull it that direction. So what I do is I pull it, and then I use my finger to push it down a little, grab it, let this kind of go back, and then just do that again. Okay, so while I'm pulling this away, I stretch it and then keep pulling further. Okay, and then as you get closer, you want to grab, let this stretch back, okay, and then continue the process. Be careful not to let it stick together because it's very hard to separate it. If you do, then most likely you're going to have to throw this away. But if you're able to keep it all separate, you can reuse this adhesive, okay, to hold the screen back into place. It won't hold as strong, but it's okay. It doesn't need all the strength that they give it. They make it way too strong. Okay, so just repeat this process over and over until the thing comes out. When you get closer, you kind of want to grab here because otherwise when you get towards the end, it's going to slingshot out, and you don't want that to happen, okay, because otherwise it's going to all stick to everything. So there we go. Here's the adhesive strip. Okay, so I'm going to just hang that on the edge of my desk out of the way. Hopefully it doesn't drop down. Keeps wanting to stick to my finger. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we got that one out. There's another one on this side as well, okay? So same thing, get in there. There's the little hole. You can grab it, okay? Then pull that, and same thing, just pull this down. Okay, also because I took this out before, it's easier to remove. So you can see how quickly I'm going. You don't want to go that fast. Just go slow. You'll feel the adhesive releasing itself. Don't try and yank it out too fast, or you can snap the adhesive, okay? All right, so just take your time, go slow. If you do snap this, you could technically use any double-sided adhesive. The only thing is if you use some random double-sided adhesive, keep in mind there's a good chance that if you need to take the screen out, you're going to end up having to just shatter the screen trying to pry it out. Right, so we got both those adhesive strips out. Now what we're going to do, we can go ahead and pull the, oops, let me zoom out more so you can see. Okay, so you go from the top here, okay, and you can just slowly let this drop forward, carefully, okay, so there we go. Now we're going to zoom in. Every models, they have different models or product lines, so you want to keep in mind this screen might be different from yours, but I'll show you what the model number is once we get this cable off. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and peel up this adhesive. I just use my fingernails. You can use plastic razor blades or little tools to get underneath, but once you get up a little corner, you can kind of like go like this. I'm basically walking it like that, okay, and pulling it over. So you're going to slowly walk this adhesive off, okay, and hopefully the replacement screen we have is correct. Okay, so slowly walk it that way, just like that. Okay, and then now we can slowly peel. Be careful not to peel this side because the connector is there. Okay, so we're just going up until the connector like that. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Okay, now that we got the sides all the way up, we're gonna go ahead and peel the rest of the middle here. And go slowly because you don't want to tear out the connector, okay? So I'm wiggling it like this so it slowly peels a little at a time. There we go. Now we have access to this. So to disconnect the connector, there's a little latch. I just use my fingernail again. You can use a little plastic pry tool, but you flip that back. And then I use the bottom of that little latch on both sides with my fingers to pull the connector out, just like that, okay? And there we go. We got the screen removed, disassembled. Oh no, the adhesive. See, that's why you peel the adhesive off, otherwise it'll stick to your keyboard. But here's the screen model number. It's a BOE screen, and there's the HP part number, M24892-LQ4, but the model number I usually use is this NV161FHM-NX2, right? NV161FHM-NX2, and not that this matters, but it's hardware version 3.2. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the replacement screen, okay? So I'll zoom out here. Okay, we'll set the laptop back here. Okay, so the replacement screen I ordered came in this like baggie here. We're gonna cut it open. Okay, so cut that thing open. Oh, that didn't work. All right, and if you're wondering why I show this in my videos, it's because sometimes manufacturers will say if something's defective, if it's broken, they'll say, are you sure you didn't break it or something? So I try and show all of this in my videos so that way they can see if it arrived broken or not or anything. Okay, so it's taped on 4 sides. What I like to do is cut like this, okay? Be careful not to insert the cutting tool too deep. You don't want to end up cutting into the screen, all right? So we'll do one side and the other side as well. Okay, once we got those 3 sides, we can actually open this like, did I cut this side enough? Where is it holding? I don't know. All right, well, we cut that all open, so we should be able to open it. What the heck? So the sticky stuff here is like stuck to it for some reason. I've never seen that happen before. So what is going on? So somehow, somehow the tape thing is sticking to the styrofoam. I've never seen that happen before. So I gotta reach my hand in there and push that away. I've never seen that happen before. That's so weird. What in the world? Okay. Now I'm scared that that's gonna damage the screen just even taking it out of the box. Okay, push that away. Okay, so here's what the screen looks like. Wow, you can see it like melted it into the box. It's not tape. This is like a, I don't know what you call it. It's like a packaging adhesive. It's not really an adhesive. It sticks to itself. It's like vinyl-y or something. Anyways, now it's stuck on both sides, I guess. So how am I gonna get this thing out? Are you serious? Okay. I have to just carefully peel that out. So there we go. And this one didn't come with any tools here, but sometimes they come with screwdrivers and stuff. It did come with this adhesive stuff, but I'm not going to use that. Okay. Actually, is this for the screen side? If it's for the screen side, I can use it, but if it's for the sides here, I'm not going to use that. If it's for up here, around the screen frame, I can use that. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and peel this out. Let's see. So this is wrapped on like that. Okay. Wow, you can see the styrofoam stuck to it. That's the first time I've seen that. Although I usually don't see this used in those styrofoamy packages. Usually they only use it when they pack it in cardboard. So that's also a first. Okay, so here's the cardboard. We'll set that aside. And here's the screen. As you can see, the screen is different. So we do want to test this before we sit it all back up in there. The screen model number is here. They covered this with their warranty sticker, but the screen model is NV161FHM-NY1. Okay, it is different. Anyways, let's go ahead and peel this out and we'll see. Usually, a lot of times when you order a screen, the manufacturers, or whatever you call the sellers, they like to send compatible models, not like the exact model you bought or ordered. And they're like, it should work because it's supposed to be the same or something. So here you go. They have some instructions there, it looks like. Oh, I didn't even look at the other side. So look, they wrote this N161HCA GA something something. And then it says thin and fragile. Be careful. Okay, anyways, we're gonna slide this out. Be careful with the adhesive on this so it doesn't stick to the screen. We'll set that aside. We're gonna go over here, line this up, and let's go ahead and plug this back in. I'm getting some calls, so okay. Oh, interesting. So the focus, it's like more gradual now on my phone instead of like usually it instant connects. All right, so anyways, we're gonna go ahead and plug this back in. I like to use the little metal latch to like hold it and use it to guide. You might have to offset the screen to the side because the slack here, so you can unroute it from there, so you have more room to work with the cable. Okay. Then line it up. Okay, get in both sides. Once you line it up, you're gonna pull both at the same time to latch it or to pull it all the way in. Okay. After you do that, obviously latch down the metal thing. Okay, make sure it goes over both sides all the way. And then we're gonna slowly put this back down and, okay, tape that back on. Let me zoom out here. All right, there we go. And then just work your way up, pushing down the adhesive, trying to keep it from forming bubbles. It stretches a little as you peel it up, so it's gonna be a little bit tricky, but just try and even that out. Okay, don't press down too hard. You don't want to damage the screen, obviously. And now let's go ahead and zoom out and get the screen into place. We're gonna now test it. All right, so we're gonna get that in. Make sure the edges all can line up. Oh no, this is bad news. Okay, so one thing to look at, this here is not as long. So what's going on is, I don't know, my customer's gonna be like, I thought it was gonna be ready. So the connector here is not lined up the same. So if I get I should have checked that before I pulled everything out. But if I line this up, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so I lined up the edges. Oops. And you can see this connector is almost like half a centimeter or half a centimeter further over or so. So this screen isn't going to work because there's not enough slack over here. So I'm going to have to see what I can do. I don't think there's any way to pull more slack from here, because if I did, it would also pull this over. So basically this screen isn't going to work, sadly, even though they're like, oh, it's a compatible one. See, sometimes they send these and then we end up with this it's not actually compatible problem. So I'm gonna pull this back out. We're gonna put the old screen back in for now because we can't leave that one in. So pretend this is the new screen, okay? We're gonna go ahead and put this in because we can't put the other one. And then we're gonna have to see about ordering a new screen, and hopefully the customer's not gonna be sad because it's gonna now take another several days to get a new part since this screen is hard to find. So we're gonna pull that in. Okay, and then put this adhesive back down. All right, so we're gonna now get all of this reassembled. So we're gonna get the other adhesive strips back in, okay? So if this adhesive is too long now because it stretches, you might have to trim it, but we're gonna go ahead and get this back in here. Make sure this touches the bottom edge, and then we're gonna go ahead and stick all of the adhesive back there. Okay, just like that. We're gonna do the other side. Okay, same thing. Line that up. Okay. Now that we got all of that in, we're gonna lay this on its back so it's easier to work on. Oops, let me zoom out. Okay, now that we got that laid on its back, we're gonna slowly let this screen go back down. Oh, that adhesive's making it stuck. All right, so we'll lay this back down. Make sure this cable, make sure that cable follows the route that it was following, and then you wanna go with the corner first. Okay, start with one of the corners, the top left or right. Make sure that's in all the way to the corner, push it all the way to the side and up, and then we'll do the other corner slowly and then drop it down, push that in, okay. Then we're gonna go ahead and put the frame back in. So I'm gonna flip this upside down so the keyboard's not in my way. All right. If you are replacing the adhesive, you would put some new double-sided adhesive here, like all the way around, okay? Since we're gonna have to open this again later, I'm gonna leave the adhesive alone, but let's go ahead and get everything else in. So start with those little corners here. Should clip in, and then you can kind of work your way up the edge. And you can see there's not really any clips there, it's mostly the adhesive holding it. Then work your way across the bottom, clip this stuff into place. Yep, okay. This design is nice because the back, when you have it open like that, actually touches the table. Sometimes they have it where the hinge is further, and then you kind of have to get underneath and push from both sides like that. Okay, but there you go. Okay, so I got all of that. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the other pieces. So we have this one up here. Okay, so basically the opposite, you're rotating it this way and then kind of trying to drop the clip back in. So I'm pushing down on this side, and yeah, there we go. Got that, and we got this corner here. I was hoping to power it up and everything. Okay, so there's one other thing about this one. Oh, I don't have the adhesive, so these are just gonna fall out. But anyways, one other thing about replacing or repairing this model, the battery acts as the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. Okay, so oops, let me zoom in for the battery here. So because of that, when you go to first turn it on, it's going to take a while to power up, okay? So keep that in mind. It's not going to instantly just power on. Let's get the battery connector lined up, make sure it goes in straight, and then you can kind of pinch the whole thing in, just like that. And there we go. Now we'll get all the batteries back. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Once you get all this back on, okay, again, sadly, I do need to order another screen because that one didn't work properly. I'll reach out to the seller and see if they have any other like options there, because otherwise that's gonna suck. And I do have to let the customer know because they were planning to pick it up tomorrow, which is not gonna happen now. All right, so I need to let them know, and then we'll see, we'll go from there. And that sucks because now I have to do this job twice because of that seller selling a screen that was listed as a certain model and it doesn't actually work. I mean, the screen would probably work. The problem is I can't put it into the space because it's too short. Okay, so anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get all of this lined up. We'll start with the back, click those clips in, work our way. We're pushing inwards as we push down. Okay, to get all those clips back in. Make sure everything's good. Push the middle as well. All right, and then we just gotta get all those screws back in. And again, when you first turn it on, it's gonna take a while. The screen's gonna stay black. It might restart itself multiple times. Don't panic, just give it its time, let it go. Leave it, if you can't stand watching it and you're worried, just leave it alone for like an hour after you push the power button. Although it should come back on in like less than 5 minutes. So anyways, let's get all these screws back in. But again, if it doesn't come back on in 5 minutes, then you'll want to wait a little bit longer. Just walk away and let it do its thing. But yeah, it shouldn't take too long. It'll just take a lot longer than normal. Okay, if it still doesn't come on after an hour, then my guess is most likely your RAM either is loose or dirty or something. You'll want to double check that, especially if you took it out. If you didn't touch the RAM, then it might not be that, but hopefully it's that and not like your motherboard is shorted out. But anyways, again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Right? Again, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More, so if you could subscribe to that channel, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and it'll help a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.